home financing at NMTW Community Credit Union. Welcome to our YouTube series on home buying. Whether you're 6 months or 2 years away from buying a home, you really want to start thinking about putting together and preparing your finances. It's the biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your lifetime. No one wakes up in the morning and decides, I can't wait to go fill out a mortgage application. It's an exciting time, and we want to help make it easier for you as you transition in going from renting a home into owning a home. Now, one of the parts that it's really important to know is a lot of times people approach the home buying process thinking, I pay rent now for $1,000 a month. How can I simply just move that into a mortgage? Well, it isn't always quite that simple. If just because you're paying $1,000 a month rent right now, $1,000 in a mortgage is great, but you have other expenses that you need to take into consideration. You're going to have property taxes, real estate taxes. You're going to have homeowners insurance. You might even have private mortgage insurance, and we're going to talk about that later on in our YouTube series. But there are other expenses that are going to occur monthly that you don't have right now, not to mention the monthly maintenance. What happens when the water heater breaks? What happens when the roof leaks? Those are going to now be your responsibility. And if you're not prepared before going into that big expense, you might end up in a situation where you can't afford the mortgage or you can't afford to stay in that home. So what we want to help you with in this YouTube series is to be able to put your finances together so you make the right decisions, you get into the right home with the right mortgage. And that's what we want to help you with. Now, the most important place to start when you're talking about preparing your finances is shoring up your spending plan. Tracking where your money goes is one of the most important things. If you don't know where you're spending your money on a monthly basis, you're going to have a hard time being able to get that money together when that mortgage bill comes in or when your real estate taxes come in. Now, the best way to do that is to establish a budget. If you don't have a budget in place already, I strongly suggest that you do that now. That's really important to better understand what your cash flow position is. And you really need to identify where your spending leaks are. You know, it's going out, ladies having your nails done, guys like to go out, maybe a round of golf on the weekends. Those are all great things, and we're not saying you can't do that anymore, but you really need to control and understand where your money's being spent. I'll give you an example. If you're going out and buying a coffee every day, I love to go to coffee. It's a couple of dollars a day. Once you look at how much you're spending a month, if I decided not to buy coffee every single day, I'd be saving maybe $30, $40 a month. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you identify where those spending leaks are, the areas that you might be able to cut back, maybe you make your coffee at home instead of going out and buying it in the morning, you can help you to save the money you need to save so that you can get into the home. Down payment is a big thing people don't always think about. You do need to prepare to save your monies to put down for a mortgage. Typically, most lenders are going to want to see that you put at least 3% down on a property. So that can be a significant amount of money. So if you're not budgeting your funds in order to be able to save those kinds of monies to get into a property, again, you could be in a situation where you're over your head in the mortgage. So it's really important that you make a savings budget and you put in your budget that you're going to put around $50, $100, whatever you can afford into your savings plan, because that's going to be important even after you buy the home for that time when that roof leaks or when that water heater breaks. That's your emergency savings fund, and that's really important that you do that as a first-time buyer. So it isn't just going from $1,000 to $1,000. There's a lot more involved. And the other piece that we want to talk about quickly today is keeping your debt under control. It's really important that you don't go out and charge up your credit cards. Keeping and making your debt affordable for you so that you don't have that other obligation going out the door every month, that you can afford the mortgage and the upkeep and the maintenance, that you don't use those credit cards. And that's going to be the next subject of our next YouTube series, which would be tips on how to pay your debt. And we'll talk about your credit, we're going to talk about credit scores, and we're going to talk about ways in order you to be able to get your debt in control so that you can start the application process. Thank you for joining us for a YouTube series. We hope that you'll be back, and you have questions for us, please let us know. We want to help you with the home buying process. You know, it's really important that before you shop for a home and fall in love, you get yourself into an institution like NMTW to apply for a pre-approval so you know whether or not you can afford that mortgage. So give us a call. Our telephone number and our email address will be listed at the end of this YouTube series, and we look forward to seeing you again.